everybody. Happy Saturday to you. I hope you're having a great Saturday and a great holiday weekend. It is the holiday weekend, Memorial Day weekend. So I hope you're having an amazing Memorial Day weekend. I forgot it was a holiday, so I know people are kind of traveling and doing their thing. But for the ones that are catching this live, I do appreciate you giving me a little bit of your time this Saturday afternoon and checking out the last episode for quarter 2, season 4, before we take a little short hiatus. Like I said, it's been an amazing season so far. And like I said, we're winding up quarter 2. And like I said, it's been great. We've had some amazing guests, and I know you're going to enjoy today's episode as well. So I want to thank you for helping me close out, like I said, quarter 2 in season 4. Can't believe it's season 4. Make sure that you know the drill. Hop into the comments, like I said, let me know where you're tuning in from and everything like that. But make sure that you join the Facebook group community, facebook.com/group/the color of motion. We definitely want you to be a part of the community, part of the family. I come from a big family, so I love a lot of family members. So we don't want you to miss out there. You're able to connect with a lot of great industry professionals. We have a lot of fun conversation and share industry news. So again, make sure you hop on over to facebook.com/groups/the color of motion and get plugged in. And I'm probably going to be working over the hiatus on this, streaming back into the Facebook group. Like I said, ever since Facebook made their policy changes, been having issues streaming live into the Facebook group. But I think I'll get that worked out during the hiatus. Also, hop on over to Instagram. Follow us, The Color of Motion. Definitely want you to be a part of that community as well. We share a lot of photos, videos, behind the scenes stuff, that kind of thing. So we're always looking to grow our Instagram channel as well. So again, hop on over to Instagram.com at The Color of Motion. Like I said, we're here each and every Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Live to the YouTube channel, LinkedIn, soon formerly Facebook group community, but we'll be back on there like the next quarter. But I do always encourage everybody to kind of hop on over to the YouTube channel, get plugged in there, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you're notified of when we go live. YouTube.com at Don Terrell. There you can check out a lot of the great content that I put up on the channel, plus the show stream there as well. And you're always able to check out all the other past episodes of some of the great friends that we've had stop by the show as well. So again, hop on over to the YouTube channel and subscribe, share it, and hit the bell notification at Don Terrell. Also, of course, the store is open. I definitely want you to hop on over to the store, pick you up some nice gear, thecolorofmotion.net/swag. We have a lot of great shirts, hoodies, mugs, constantly putting new items into the store. If you're something that you might want to have in there, shoot me a message, let me know. But again, definitely hop on over there, pick you up something nice for sure. My one request is if you do pick up something like a shirt or a hoodie or even a mug or whatever, make sure you snap a picture of yourself, shoot it on over to me so that I can share on the channel like this and share on our social channels as well. So like I said, definitely want you to pick you up. I always like seeing a lot of people in as many swag items as possible to get the word out there. I'd like to give a big shout out to today's sponsor of the show, GainsCon, getting ready to kick off in a little over a month. I will be doing a special 2-day live stream from the event out in Las Vegas from Barry Gaines, who was on the show, independent filmmaker. It is a indie live. It is an indie film, horror genre, sci-fi, and fantasy film festival that he started out in Vegas. And again, the 11th and the 12th of July, I will be doing a special live stream of the show from there. So definitely looking forward to being back out in Vegas and having some fun for sure. So again, thank you, Gamescom, for sponsoring today's episode, and definitely be on the lookout for ads coming up for that because it's coming up soon. So looking forward to it for sure. Oh, all righty. Well, like I said, without further ado, I think we're ready to get this kind of train kicked off on the right foot. So looking forward to this episode. And like I said, making this last episode before our hiatus a very, very special one. So let's, what do you say we get this show on the road, huh? Wow, we are back. We are back and ready to get this one on the road. I'm so excited about my next guest. Looking forward to sitting down, having a great conversation. She has a fun personality, so it should be a great show for sure. And without further ado, what do you say we get this going? My next guest is a founder, UX designer, illustrator, and content creator. She founded Design Buddies, a community with an audience of 150,000 plus, helping designers improve their skills and land jobs. She is also a UX designer at Electronic Arts, EA, building products for creators. She also creates content about design, career, lifestyle, and travel. She has amassed 60,000 plus followers and has been featured on the New York Times Square, Wall Street Journal, KTSF, KQED, Adobe, Dell, Discord, and more. She is a world traveler and has been to 30 plus countries, based in San Francisco and born and raised in Cupertino, California. She's a self-taught designer who graduated with majors in bioengineering, wow, and computer science and engineering, born and raised in Silicon Valley, California. Prior to focusing on design, she developed virtual reality games to train surgeons and to make science education fun. She also used to run an art business and tabled at anime conventions. Everybody, please help me welcome my very special guest and friend, Miss Grace Ling.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
Grace and her pal, Buddy.
Thank you. I'm live from the Bunny House in San Francisco.
Awesome. And we're going to dive a little into the Bunny House as well. But Grace, thank you so much for coming on, joining us, sharing a little bit of your journey, and just talking about what you're doing in the industry as a whole. I always like to, ask creators kind of what got them first interested in design, because obviously from your bio, your degree is in, kind of bioengineering and kind of something a little off the beaten path, where you always still creative alongside getting just a general degree in bioengineering, computer science. What was it that initially really got you just fascinated in into design and creating?
It was this game called Maple Story, and it's like a massive multiplayer online role-playing game that I was obsessed with growing up. The art style, the music, the community, the guilds. I was like a guild leader, the whole world and everything. I just like love the art style. I played it a lot growing up. I also watched a lot of anime, played a lot of games like Pokemon, Animal Crossing. And growing up, I actually wanted to be an anime artist slash game designer. Games were a huge part of my life. And but growing up in Silicon Valley, you're popular in school if you get good grades. So the adults were like, you gotta be a doctor, engineer, lawyer, or failure. So naturally, I chose doctor, engineer. Why bio? Why bioengineering though? Because my mom, she like randomly paid me to go to the gym with her, and then that's how I got really fast at running, cross country and track. So I was a competitive runner, went to nationals a couple of times, broke a lot of school records. So I studied bioengineering because I wanted to learn how to biohack myself to run faster.
Yeah.
And then after doing a couple of internships, I was like, I didn't really like see myself doing that for my career, so I pivoted over to computer science engineering because I just want to make games. And later, it inspired me to get a job in the games industry at EA Electronic Arts. However, I actually quit my corporate job 2 months ago to chase my dreams instead. So how I built up to this was like, I feel like I've always been a little bit different. Like, I think normal is boring. I was always a class clown, got in trouble a lot in school, got sent to the principal's office for memeing and joking around, screaming
Oh,
in
wow.
class. Now I dance on LinkedIn, Instagram, on the internet. So I like made this community called Design Buddies when I was a student about 4 years ago. I was studying engineering and I wanted to pivot into UX design, UX specifically because it combines like my logical engineering background and my creativity. And it's like very data driven and it pays very well in tech without needing to code. And I like wish I liked coding, but my brain just like was so slow in it. And so
I feel you.
I was just like, okay, UX design, games industry, cool, cool. And so for like a couple of years, I was like doing design buddies, doing my job at EA. I was also creating a lot of content on the internet, on like LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. I just like learning in public and be able to like improve like my writing skills and to meet people across the internet, growing a following. And I've actually been on the internet since I was like 14. Well, no, 7 years old on Neopets.
Oh, wow.
So I've been like yelling on the internet for a while. And built like a quite large of a following just by like talking about my life and my learnings on LinkedIn and like why I quit my corporate job to follow my dreams. I feel like design is like I love design a lot and I love creativity, but I felt really constrained by a corporate job. I was told that I lacked focus in UX design. And but there's so many aspects of design that I love. I love like illustration. I love designing events. I love graphic design. UX design does this look great. And so I ultimately left because I didn't see myself climbing the corporate ladder. And I have so many creative interests I wanted to pursue. And so now I just hosted my first conference for Design Buddies where over 4,500 people came. It
Wow.
was in person that we sold out and online just like 5 days ago. I am running like a founder creator house here in SF called the Bunny House, which I am in the living room right now, hosting a lot of events, building something new in AI, Design Buddies AI, actually, helping more designers improve their personal brand to land jobs, still creating content, dancing on LinkedIn, getting really into like TikTok. And yeah, I feel like I'm like driven a lot by creativity and not wanting to be normal and just exploring. And hence why
Yeah.
and I feel like got me
Wow.
to where I am today.
Well, I'm curious, knowing what you're doing now, do you think you would have did it differently as opposed to going straight into design and not getting your degree in bioengineering and chemical computer science, would you if you had a chance to go back, would you do it differently and just dive right into doing design and creating and just being a content creator as opposed to, like I said, going to get your degree in kind of something in a different path?
I feel like I like to live life with no regrets. I believe that every choice we make leads us to where we are today. But one kind of like thing I would do differently is in school. I felt like school was very hard. I'm not very good at memorizing information, and I'm not very good at reading and well, I'm not really good at studying because I spent so much of my childhood in the library with my books. I sacrificed a lot of social experiences, travel experiences because I was so concerned about getting the best grades. And honestly, it really depends on your goals, but C's get degrees, and especially in the creative field, no one really asks for your grades. And
Yeah.
so instead of adding that many hours a week studying, I would spend more time with friends, getting new experiences instead of being in the library. And I feel like a lot of it also really motivated me to what I do today in building communities because I felt like I wasted so much of my childhood in the library and not living life. That's why I love community building, doing all these random things, traveling everywhere. And I also feel like the ability to set yourself up for a goal, like working hard towards studying an exam, it helped me improve my mental endurance so that I'm able to do so many things without burning out. So ultimately, no regrets. But if I had to change something, I feel like I would been more well-rounded person if I spent more time diversifying what I did instead of locking myself in the library.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, as your bio said, you love to travel and love to do a lot of experience. How has all of those things kind of helped to shape your creativity, just your thoughts on being a content creator? How is all of those things kind of adding into who you are today and the things that you're interested in today, right now?
I feel like having different majors and knowing about different fields helps me connect with more people. For example, if I go to a biohackers meetup or a hackathon, I'm able to understand, kind of know what they're talking about
Yeah.
and kind of connect that way. I'm still very interested in health and biohacking, biology stuff, but I don't see myself doing that as a profession. I'm still very interested. And for computer science specifically, I feel like it helped me work pretty well with engineers and be able to implement products and working with others, I would say is how and also understanding things from a very systematic perspective because the things in biology kind of work in systems and being able to think very rationally, objectively based on how everything works.
Yeah, yeah, no, also, and uh, obviously the mission of kind of design buddies is kind of to help other creators kind of learn skills and land jobs, um, and that obviously with kind of today's climate, it's been very hard, and a lot of the people that I've talked to are finding it very hard to find work, very hard to get into to studios and jobs. How has uh, kind of what's going on today kind of helped? And right now, I mean, I know everything is kind of cyclical. I mean, we're just the industry's kind of in this little down slope right now with just people having a hard time really finding jobs. What are your kind of thoughts on just the climate as it is right now, and how has Design Buddies kind of made, if any, kind of changes to kind of give creators kind of tips and advice on, you know, better positioning themselves to find a job and get into the job market?
Mhm. I feel like not everyone can be a designer. I know it's a kind of a hot take, and I feel like there is at least this is just my own perspective. There's a lot of startups hiring designers right now, but the designers they're looking for is number one, first product designer, so people with more experienced. And a lot with all the layoffs, I feel like a lot of companies are looking for more senior folks. But I feel like with the rise of like AI in everyone's workflows, and what I've noticed, it's just a big generalization, is more newer, younger junior designers, they're very hungry to learn new tools like AI.
Yeah.
So that puts them at an advantage. And so if you're like a new designer trying to break into industry, would recommend just learning as many tools as you want and seeing how AI can fit in your workflow.
Yeah.
I also feel like just keep improving your skills, and how to get a job is like having good skills, but also knowing the right people. And
Yeah.
so with Design Buddies, we try to do a lot of like hackathons, design challenges, educational workshops to help improve people's skills and peer feedback, as well as events like networking, like having a community space where people can recognize or get to know other people. Um, so that's what we try to help designers with. And I also am trying to help match designers with jobs, building like a database. I have like a little
Yeah.
CRM where I try to do that way. And why I don't think everyone can be a designer is I've noticed that for designers, it's different than art. Like art, it's like creativity, expressing yourself. And design, it's like you're using your creativity to solve a problem and using metrics to measure success.
Yeah.
And which means you have to be receptive to taking in feedback and being curious and making sure your designs achieve the business goals, solve problems, and are able to be implemented by the engineers for UX design specifically. And so it's all about like curiosity and not taking your designs personally. And I've noticed that a lot as well. But I think as long as you keep an open mind, eager to learn new tools and how it fits in the big picture, and I'll go to events, network, meet people, and being curious about what they do, I think
Yeah.
that's like the recipe to landing a job right now, or
Yeah.
in general too.
And we were gonna, and I was gonna kind of ask you about this because it is kind of the hot topic with AI, and I've trust me, I've talked with enough artists and creators, um, both on the show and off the show, and you know enough of them on both sides of the fence. Some love it, some hate it, some really, like I said, see it as a really intrusive thing, especially with copyrights and things like that. Obviously, you look at it kind of like I do as a tool to learn how to use, to make your task easier, to make designing a lot easier, ideation a lot easier. But what are your thoughts on a little more thoughts on AI and how it's really kind of dove into this space that we're in? And like I said, I'm pretty sure you've come across people on both sides of the fence that love it, hate it, you know, that type of thing. What are your kind of thoughts on the impact that it's going to really make? Because it is kind of a genie that's not going back in the bottle. And it's something that, like you said, you have to figure out how to learn. But how has and how has it impacted how you create?
Mhm. Yeah, with AI, I feel like it's, yeah, just like a tool. And I think designers will be replaced by designers who use AI. Just like if you make like, I feel like 10 years ago, you might have made your mockups on like Photoshop, and now there's like Figma to make it easier. So AI is another tool. I feel like where AI specifically fits in the workflow is helping with idea generation, like you're starting, like getting rid of artist block, as well as helping automate meaningless tasks, such as synthesizing all the user research data that can help you work faster. But I do not think you should copy and paste from AI. I think it's like human inputs into AI outputs something, and it's a human's job to interpret that and edit that so it fits the problem. And with design specifically, there is a lot of other context that's missing from like the user goals, business needs, engineering, that humans still need to put their creativity. But I see AI as a tool to help them be more creative, in starting somewhere, and also like automating like redundant tasks, like making pixel perfect mockups or synthesizing lots of data. But I do feel like there is a strong divide between the design and art community and how that relates to AI. This is kind of funny, but I had this video, viral video of myself on Instagram. It got 1.5 million views.
Wow.
And what happened was I was like, me and some other folks, we just like screamed AI in San Francisco. It's so hilarious because half the comments were like, "Oh, my laugh sounds like a seagull." Half the comments were, "Oh, go kill yourself." So it's so
Wow.
interesting to see. No, it's okay. I'm like so used to it. Um, like, I think it's so funny because it kind of like it's like AI somehow like ruffles the feathers. Like, but these people like leaving negative comments, like I don't even know who they are. That's okay. But they're like people with like no profile pictures, and I feel like there's like a strong hatred towards AI from some folks that I don't know who they are,
Yeah.
but I feel like I'm also dabble my foot in like art and design communities. I feel like in design specifically, since we're more like metrics and problem solving driven, AI is seen as something positive. Versus in art communities, it is seen as the devil, the enemy. And well, I also like respect their opinion and can understand because AI the models can be trained on their personal work, and artists spend so much of their life crafting and working on their skills. And it seems like a slap in the face if the AI trains their models and be able to produce work that looks like them, but it's not by them, and they're not profiting off it. So I
Yeah.
also understand their sentiment. I definitely think some guardrails need to put in place for the copyright stuff. And so when I think about using AI in my workflow, I never like directly copy and paste. I mostly use it as like an idea generation or
Yeah.
helping me like write better, but also like edit it myself. With the image and video stuff, I've actually personally never used AI for any of my artwork or videos because I'm also like an artist and I don't want I like value like the craft and time I took to put in my
Yeah.
skills,
Yeah.
and I just want to showcase that and like be proud of that too. So I'm kind
Yeah.
of like in both worlds, and I just kind of just like I don't have an opinion. I just like am respectful of like both schools of thoughts and just like operate life based on it depends.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm right there with you because I'm an artist and I'm a content creator as well. So I understand, the ones that y- are on the other side of it, that really, are hating it and disliking it. I think a little bit of it is, you know, they're they're working at studios that are now starting to just kind of depend on AI to generate the content, so they feel like they don't need an artist or editor or whatever it is because okay, AI can do it. But I am on I do see the other side of it as it's a tool, just like Photoshop is a tool, just like my pencil is a tool to get my idea out there and to make whatever it is easier. And I do feel, like what you said, there's still a lot of stuff they need to work out as far as, copyright legalities and things like that. But again, it is a genie that's not going in back in the bottle. So figuring out how you can use it in like what you just said, the ideation process, obviously it probably can do coding way better than, write coding way better than I could. But I think that's also the other thing is a lot of people just take verbatim what comes out of AI and share it and use it. And I think as a creator, it it's almost like a cheat for the non-artist that just, I can write prompts and get a graphic piece and call myself a artist. Whereas the traditional artist has spent time, money, energy learning their skill and crafting their skill, um, you know, over this span of time when, like I said, a lot of people just think, oh, I can sit down and figure out a prompt and come up with a masterpiece. So, like I said, I'm like you. I'm in the middle. Like I said, I love using AI. Trust me, I would much rather use Adobe's Sensei tool to make selections or things like that as opposed to doing it manually. that's AI and generating backgrounds and things like that, but still using it as just an element of the overall project I may be working on in that. So I agree with you. And like I said, it's a tool that you need to figure out, I think, how you can best use it in what you're doing and what you're creating as well. To this point, you built, like you said, you're a pretty big influencer. You made a big following. What's been kind of the biggest challenge? You just mentioned, I think, a minute ago, with what comes along with having a lot of followers, having a lot of people view your comment or your content. You do have those strange comments from people that you don't know or anything like that. What's been kind of the biggest challenge in building a large following?
Mhm. I'm curious, I'll get into this. How do you use AI in your workflow?
Uh, I use it like I'll use it in a lot of different ways. Um, if I'm writing if I'm putting together a presentation, I may use it to generate like talking points on a topic to give me ideas about a talking point, which gives me a format type of thing. Open chat GPT, it'll help me kind of ideate things. I use it like for, generative background fills. If I'm working on something and the image isn't quite big enough for me, Photoshop's generative fill is a great tool and does an amazing job. Like I said, their Sensei tool is their AI, and like I said, it makes my process of if I'm cutting out something, it depending on the image, it does a pretty good job of selecting an object. So I try to use it in the things that I'm doing that makes a tedious task, a lot quicker and a lot easier. I'm not using it to generate a full image or anything like that. If I do, it's maybe a background in a video where I'm placing other elements on top of it, and using it as just a piece of a whole thing that I'm creating. I don't use it as, okay, I'm creating a piece of art and that's what I use. I may use it to generate different variations of a artwork or idea that I got, and then from there, okay, I got an idea what I want the piece to kind of look like or the elements I want in it. Then I'll move to either Photoshop or an app, Illustrator, whatever the app is that I'm using to create the piece. I use it, like I said, as more of a ideation type of thing, or creating maybe a small element for something, or making a task. Like I said, like selecting an object, or masking out something, or rotoscoping something. It makes it a lot easier. Yeah, you still have to go in and maybe do some fine tweaking for yourself, but it takes 90% of the heavy lifting off. So that's how I use it. But I also know that, like any tool, there are going to be people that use a tool the wrong way or not as it was intended to be used, or for their own benefit. But that's, again, with any tool. Like I said, a car is a tool, but there are people that can get into a car and kill people. A gun is a tool, but there are people that can use a gun the wrong way. So for me, it's a tool. Like I said, like any tool that I'm using, like this microphone's a tool, my drawing tablet's a tool, and I treat it like that. And I figure out, well, how can I use this tool to make a task that may be tedious or just maybe long, shorten it.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, just a tool. Oh, to answer your question about the large following, I feel like it's not your life's purpose to please every single person on the planet. And I just see everything as like data. I feel like most people are pretty nice, and I know sometimes if you people, it's like natural human instincts to detect danger.
Yeah.
And when you see a hate comment, it's like, ooh, danger. But you have to like recognize that there's so many like good people out there, and but also it's okay to feel sad because it's just human and natural human instincts. But you don't have it's not your life's purpose to please them. And so how I look at it is it's just data. Like if people say like, "Oh, this sucks," and I'll be like, "Oh, tell me why." Like I want to know. Is this like
Yeah.
I just kind of treat everything as like, how can I learn from this? And sometimes like it does suck and I learn something new, or sometimes they're just like angry and they need a vent, which is like okay as well. I don't really have to think much about it because there's so many like other things to do in life. And I feel like with social media and like making a living as a content creator, you you don't need a big following. I feel like it's all about having your 100 or 1,000 true fans.
Yeah.
Imagine if they all paid you like $100 a month, you'll be like set,
Yeah.
and you don't have to please everyone. And just because someone has like a large following doesn't mean they're making a lot of money through that.
Yeah.
So having a true fans, um, having a community, and yeah, I guess like just treat hate comments as like data. I guess that's the designer in me. It's like, oh, tell me more. I want to
Yeah.
understand what are your
Yeah.
pain points. What have I done? And
No, and
that's how
that's
I
a
feel.
good way to look at it. Really, using it as data. What can I learn from this? Or tell me why you don't like it. And really digging into it. A lot of people, like I said, they use fire for fire. If somebody fires back, fires at them, then that kind of gets them upset, and they'll fire back. That's kind of the downside of social media. But again, the way you look at it is a great way to look at it. Is how can I pull data from this about what I'm doing and use it to either make myself better, or like I said, some people just like spewing hate and just for no reason, and those you just
And yeah. Usually the
yeah
people spewing hate, they're the ones without the profile pics.
yeah
They're cowards. They wouldn't say it to your face. They're probably like really old, hiding in their like parents' basement and like keyboard warriors. Just so you know.
yeah, no, I agree with you there. They're probably not the one person you're thinking of for sure. Um, Obviously, quitting corporate was kind of the best move for you, um, and I get it, um, because as a creative, it is kind of hard to be in kind of this corporate thing. And like I said, I work corporate. I do a lot of corporate stuff as well. Um, But what was the kind of the a couple of the defining reasons that you felt like corporate just wasn't for you?
Mhm. I feel like I can get into a lot of this, but I feel like I really also like enjoyed my time at EA mostly because I got to develop my skills from as a UX designer and learn how an organization works. So I do think it is a valuable experience, especially early in your career,
Yeah,
to have like mentorship, work in a team, and see how companies work. And so I'm not like anti-corporate. I
yeah,
think it's like training wheels. It's like school. It's like educational. Um, but I feel like without getting into too many details, I feel like with the large company, there is lots of it's very bureaucratic and there's a lot of approvals that are needed to move things forward, which
yeah,
makes sense because there's so many things going on, so many people, and so I don't think it's like a bad or a wrong thing. But for me, I just like to get things done
yeah,
and I like to move quickly. But I feel like in my position in the corporate ladder, I felt like I wasn't able to make a lot of impact because I felt like I was shut down when I tried to ask questions, when I tried to like volunteer, like involve myself in different things. I also felt like I was given a lot of work that was not productive to my career growth.
Yeah.
And when I asked questions about it, the response made me feel like I just needed to shut up, put my head down, and do the
Do your
work.
job. Yeah.
And yeah, and I was just trying to understand why we're doing something and how can I help and how does this help the company's goals? How does it help make more money?
Yeah.
But I was just like I just like was felt like I needed to shut up and just put my head down and just do it. Um, and I feel like I also got some feedback from more senior folks saying that I need to focus on something. Like as a designer, you need to, as you grow in your career, you need to niche yourself down. Like, for example, you want to be a UX designer good at research, designer that is good at engineering, like design systems.
Yeah.
And I like couldn't wrap my head around what I want to niche myself down. So I worked in corporate for almost 4 years. Well, 3.5 year, about 3.5 years ish. And I don't know, there I was like, I just feel like that's like a long time in one company. Um, and I was also like not thinking of leaving because like I really don't like interviewing for jobs and I didn't want to prepare my portfolio again. It was like really stressful. And with all the layoffs happening, I was just like,
Yeah.
I'll just like stay here, I guess. And I made a lot of amazing friends through my company that I still stay in touch with and invite to
Yeah.
my house and everything. Like, I think it was like great experience for me to like meet people, improve my skills. But I just feel like the way I'm measuring success in the corporate ladder, sometimes like in my own personal experience, it's not a representative of everyone's experience, is I just felt like a cog in this machine.
Yeah.
And when I
Yeah.
tried to like think bigger, I was like discouraged to do that. And that's why I left because ultimately I wanted to make a bigger impact. I find a lot more fulfillment in building communities, helping people have fun, be creative, bring the best out of everyone,
Yeah.
entertain, laugh, instead of like helping big tech company make more money.
Yeah.
But working corporate is also nice because you have a stable paycheck, you have healthcare, you have
Yeah.
stocks, all
Yeah.
that good stuff. But as an entrepreneur, you're taking a bet on yourself. You have this opportunity to like 100, 1000x your income.
Yeah.
There's so much potential, but with high risk, high reward. And I, right now in my life, I'm in my mid 20s and I just want to be in a high risk, high reward situation right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I just want to.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because I was just getting ready to say that not everybody is kind of cut out to be that kind of independent, depending on where you're at in your life and where your mentality is. Some people just want that, hey, I go to my 9 to 5 job, do my work, get my benefits, get my pay, go home, and I'm good with that. As opposed to it takes a lot more effort, a lot more work to be that independent creator where you're kind of going out hunting for different things and different opportunities that come out that come to you. And not everybody is kind of cut out that way, and not everybody wants to go down that route for sure. So I definitely get it, what you're saying in that, you know, some corporate jobs you can feel kind of, and especially as a creative, you're wanting your mind to kind of, and you want to be in a job that appreciates your ideas, appreciates and is receptive to your ideas and wants to foster that as opposed to, like you said, just here's what you need to do. Go sit down, do it, bring it back to me. And in that type of cycle, for sure, it can be a little stifling for those creative types. That like to jump around to different things, learn different things, and feel like their voice is heard, type of thing. What's been, to this point, what's been kind of the best piece of advice that somebody's given you that's really kind of helped serve you along the way so far?
Today is the best day to start something new. Stop waiting, just do it. Just
That
execute.
is awesome.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, and like
on
whatever's holding you back. life is a journey. Like if you make mistakes, that's also as productive. And also, it's not your life goal to please everyone and have fun. Life and don't like change yourself to fit in anywhere. You don't have to like vibe with everyone.
No, no, no. That's like I said, and I hope everybody caught that because, like I said, those are great pieces of advice, and great things to kind of live by. I mean, you know how I like great pieces of advice. Drop a bomb on it because it's a bomb of a nugget. That life is a journey, and everybody's journey is a different journey, for sure. I want to dive a little into your style because obviously you have a very fun style. It looks like you like pink and bunnies. So let's take a look at some of Grace's work, and we'll dive a little into kind of how she's developed her style over time, for sure. So again, uh, you you have a very kind of unique style, almost like maybe Hello Kitty. You really like pink. You like bunnies. What was the thing that kind of influenced, or some of the things that you said you loved anime, that type of stuff. But what other things really kind of influence kind of your style of art, your style of content creating?
Mhm. I really liked MapleStory, video games, anime. I like adding life to inanimate objects. Like I have some stuff like cells that I drew, like from biology, and just adding like faces, like a personality. So yeah, like bring life to like food, like bring life to inanimate objects. I just think it's fun, really funky and creative, and helping them feel alive. Like this little bunny, I like isometric art, like pastel colors, bright, happy, calm. Also kind of anime like yeah,
Yeah.
like with 3D art as well, like soft colors I like. Yeah, so
What
like
are
also
some
like
of the
games.
tools that you enjoy using? You mentioned Figma, which is a great tool. Um, what are some of the other tools that you use to create your artwork and in your content?
Mhm. I mainly use for illustrations like this. I use like Procreate on the iPad Pro with Apple Pencil. With my short for the 3D stuff, I use the Blender. And for my short form videos like on TikTok, I use CapCut.
Oh wow, okay. I use Blender. I haven't. Well, I love Blender. Blender is a great tool, for sure. Haven't dove into Procreate, although I know it's an amazing piece of software. I don't know. Well, I'm pretty sure out in California, you've seen the Apple's release of the new iPad Pro and Apple Pencil and everything. Um, do you see um, some of the tools being more readily available? Like you said, you like a blender, which I like too, and it's a free app. This time now that we live in, do you see it as a great time for creators? Um, Maybe not necessarily so much in the job space because of all the layoffs and things like that, but as a independent creator, having the ability um, to access all these channels of your own, such as Instagram, your website, LinkedIn, some of the other platforms to get your content and your artwork out there, and tools being more affordable and readily available. How do you see this time as uh, a content creator and creating content in this time? Because,
I feel
like you
like
said,
there's
you're
oh
young.
god.
20. You're young. Like you said, you're in your 20s. Trust me, I'm a little bit older, uh, and I remember when the time before computers, the time before all of that stuff that made creating content easy, and having to do things manually. So, how do you feel about this time? Obviously that you're in. You're this is the time that you're born into and that you're living in. You may not remember like a time before then, but being a content creator now and having all these avenues and channels to get your content out there? How do you see this time that we live in?
Yeah, there's so many tools out there. Um, Just use the one that is best for you. There are people who are like not show, but like talk about a lot of different tools they use. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the amount of options out there. But I feel like with creativity, it just comes with your brain. Like
Yeah.
just the paper and pencil would do, and just like a simple tool like CapCut or iMovie. Like I use iMovie. Like I try using Final Cut Pro. There's too much stuff, and with Blender specifically, with
That's
like
what I use for my
render.
job. But I love DaVinci Resolve as far as editing and
Uh,
stuff. I do have CapCut. I haven't really played a whole lot with it, but like I said, I kind of in love with DaVinci Resolve. But like you said, there are a lot of tools, and I think finding what works for you is kind of
Yeah,
the
and it's okay
thing.
if you want to use a simple one. Like, I just literally use iMovie. I tried like learning After Effects and like I just like press a button. I don't know what I did and I had to restart the whole thing. And same with like Blender. So like I used to make VR games, so I spent a couple of years just diving into like Autodesk Maya and Blender. But like honestly, I haven't touched it in like 2 years and I forgot how to use it. And it's like so complicated because I would like press a button and I don't know what I did and I had to
Yeah,
restart. Um So like for like 3D specifically, I recommend Spline. Spline is a 3D tool.
yeah,
I actually really like working with them. They're actually one of our partners and sponsor with Design Buddies, but this is not the reason why I am
yeah,
promoting them. I like believe that it's like very easy to make 3D in the web. Um, and I feel like a lot of content creators will talk about all the complex workflows and tools they use, and I don't think the tools make you like a better or worse content creator.
yeah,
It's all about the ideas and unique personality and takes you bring to things, and
yeah,
don't feel the need to like learn all these complex tools and don't let that be a blocker. Just you can have a simple iPhone and or a photo and video, just post it on. And I feel like, especially with like Gen Z and TikTok, I feel like we're moving towards a more like less production, more about your personality and ideas kind of era with content creation, like more authentic personality. And so just put yourself out there. Like I just like some of the videos that went viral were just like me doing random things in public.
yeah,
So I wouldn't like let tools be of a blocker. Just use the simple ones, and if you feel like just don't feel the need to like learn every single tool. It's all about like putting your ideas out there and seeing what sticks. It's the science
yeah,
experiment. And then
yeah,
as you get more and more experience, you can learn more complex tools, do more things. But if you're starting out, then just use the simplest ones. And I
yeah,
use iMovie, and I'm proud of it.
yeah, yeah. Use and trust me, like I said, I've seen it's not the tool, it's the creator behind the tool. Because, like I said, I've seen some amazing software or amazing um, pieces of art done in the simplest software or even with pencil and paper. Um, Definitely. Uh, and it's funny, even the artists that are using like those big heavy tools like Maya or 3D Studio Max or whatever, even in Blender. Most of them say there's only like 3 or 4 tools within that software that they actually use. They don't use every function or feature in the tool. They use it for whatever it is. So focusing on those things that work for you are probably the best way to go for sure. Um, One kind of final question. Like I said, this has been, and everybody just jumping in, just tuning in. Like I said, we've been having an amazing conversation with my friend Grace Ling, content creator, UX designer, illustrator, and just learning her journey. Definitely, like I said, jump in, say hello, and everything like that. But as we kind of close this out and wrap this up, um, like I said, you've given um, kind of best advice that's been given to you. What is it that you tell younger people that are kind of wanting to get into the industry or thinking about getting into the industry? What's the kind of advice, if anything, differently than what you said, do you tell them as they're thinking about getting in and coming into the industry?
feel like there's no one specific path, and don't reduce your entire personality to your job title. Like, when I was a student, I felt like my major was like my life. And then when I started my career, I thought my job title was my life. And there's much more to that. And like, yeah, it's great to grow as a designer, like learn a lot from working as a designer, but don't like associate your entire identity because you are much more than that. You have so many great things yourself that are all worth celebrating,
Yeah,
like your hobbies, your interests, your upbringing, your friends, like your social groups, things you like to do for fun, and your goals in general outside of life. And so just focus on everything. Like, don't like put all your eggs in one basket, and don't reduce your entire identity as your job title. So, yeah, and then, like, I don't know, just explore, try new things, learn, and not everything, and don't, like, just be too focused on one goal and have, like, multiple goals, and, yeah, just have fun, surround yourself with good people too, specifically people who uplift you and who you want to uplift, and just like not really hang out with people who bond by gossiping about others and talking bad about others, because I
yeah.
learned that when I left those groups, my whole life changed. And always ask for feedback, and yeah, just have fun, live a balanced life, and don't reduce your entire identity to your major or your job.
Yeah, those are great pieces of
Mhm.
advice, for sure, to kind of live by and think about as you're not only doing, art or content creating, but in whatever it is that you do, have a balanced life. Try and have a balanced life is always the thing, for sure. Um, Grace, like I said, this has been such a great honor having you on, especially on this last episode as we close out for our hiatus. And I cannot thank you enough for coming on, sharing, your insight, your work, your thoughts on the industry, and kind of how you're moving through the industry as well. Make sure that you connect with Grace. She's on a lot of different channels, for sure. Design Buddies community, Discord, LinkedIn, Instagram. You can find her just about everywhere, for sure. And YouTube, and check out more of her work and what she's doing. All this information will be in the show notes. So make sure that you come back, check out the show notes, connect with her, and reach out to her for sure. Like I said, Grace, it's been such an honor and such a pleasure. One, connecting with you in the first place. I cannot thank you enough for connecting with me and being a part of the Color of Motion family. And definitely can't wait to have you back on and share, your continuing journey with us, for sure. So thank you, Grace, for coming on and this holiday weekend. I know you're heading out of town for probably a holiday weekend yourself, but again, thank you so much for being a part of the Color of Motion family, and sharing all that you do.
Thanks for having me on. This was fun. And I'm gonna check out your Facebook group. Didn't know you had a Facebook group too, so I'll join that.
Yeah, Facebook group, please join. Like I said, we have a lot of great conversation there. You're able to connect with so many other creators as well. Definitely looking to always, again, grow our family for sure. If you could hang out for just 1 second while I close out the show, I would appreciate it. But again, everybody, please help me thank again my very special guest and friend Grace Ling for coming on and joining us for this closeout episode.
Thank you, everyone.
Hang on for just a second there, Grace, while I close this puppy out.
Yes.
Thanks. Everybody had been, like I said, a fun episode to do. Again, I can't thank you, the viewers, for tuning in always and stopping by, sharing a little bit of your time. Again, thank you this holiday weekend for helping me close out this final episode of quarter two in season 4. So, like I said, we got a lot of big things planned. Again, be on the lookout for advertisements for the GainsCon Film Festival, where I'll be doing a little live streaming coming up in the next few weeks, and more information for sure. Well. I hope everybody has an amazing holiday weekend. Be safe if you are planning on going anywhere or traveling. Definitely want to see you back here in a few weeks. Like I always say, uh, be creative and have a great holiday weekend. And I will see you same time, same channel. Cheers, everybody.